And what's going on, good people? Thank you for tuning in to this episode. This is going to be episode 0. I'll call it the warm up because this is my first time of recording in a while. So I got to get some of that brake dust off of me and get some cobwebs off as I get ready to explore into this world. And once again, thank you for joining this episode of And Then We Win. I'm excited about this journey and this project that I'm working on with many of my colleagues and some friends and family in the field of sports social work. If you don't know, hopefully you know by now, my name is Dr. Justice Singleton. I am the lead consultant, CEO of Just Single Vision Consulting. And this is going to be part of my project as we dive into the world of sports social work and the work that we do here. And the inspiration behind this show happened because a lot of people had no idea that sports social work was a thing. I found out a few years ago, and I was very excited about this work because I love sports. And I love social work. And so it's just like a beautiful merger of the two things that I do care about the most. I'll give you a little background about myself. I am a doctor of social work, obtained it from the University of Memphis, go Tigers. I also have my master's in social work from the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, go Vols. And I just love social work. I love what social work can do for the society and helping those who are disadvantaged. As I like to say, for those who allows me to be a voice, for those who do have a voice, but I consider myself a megaphone. I consider myself a connector. And these are the things that I do cherish the most and what I value the most about social work. That is what I believe in. That is my role in this space, as there's several different roles in social work. And so with this show, And Then We Win, we will focus a lot about sports social work. And so you may wonder how I stumbled upon this field. It was pretty quick. I love doing research. I love learning new things. And a few years ago, I don't know how I came across about the website, but I did come across the website for the Alliance of Social Workers in Sports. And so I was like, this is pretty cool. Now, this is a few years back. I can't tell exactly when. Maybe it might have been around 2013, 2014. It was right after I graduated from grad school, from UT. And I was like, what's all this all about? And so I joined it. I wasn't very active, but I did know that it was something that I wanted to be involved with. And so life started lifing, of course, and other things got in the way. I was still trying to figure myself out in this world of social work. I've had several different roles as a school social worker, case manager. I also did work for the macro sector, working for the Education, Homes, Children, and Youth, and did a lot of grants management, and worked in that space a whole lot too. So just a few years ago, after I finished my doctoral degree, I got this power of Superman within inside of me. And I was like, you got a doctorate degree, Justin, you can do whatever you want to. I probably didn't think that when I was in the program, but something inside of me was just like, Justin, do what you want to do in this field. And so my heart came back to sports social work. I am an athlete. You're never not an athlete. And so I played sports growing up from a recreational standpoint until I was in high school. I played high school football and soccer. I ran track for a couple of meets just so I can get a letter in that sport. It was an achievement thing. It was more of a extrinsic value, and a topic we'll cover later on. But I really did love sports. I really do love sports. Even to this day, I still find myself active in something. I did obstacle course races for a couple of years. I did CrossFit for a little bit. Um, and I actually left OCR because of an injury. I got golfer's elbow really bad. One race I was running, my elbow's locked up. I couldn't even like grab on anything or move my arms while I was running. And so I was like, well, going to CrossFit. And I thought I'd be okay then. Started doing CrossFit, and then my golfer's elbow was still bothering me. And for me, I went to a great gym, and so they always had substitute exercises with the work that was being done for the day or the WOD of the day, or the WOD, I'm sorry. And that wasn't me. I really was like, if I'm going to get involved, the athlete instinct to me is that I got to go all the way. And so I got a little frustrated with myself. And then I decided to say I was able to do weightlifting. Love weightlifting, always love weightlifting. I got that good old country boy strength, as most people say, as I'm from a rural town in South Carolina. But I really did enjoy Olympic style weightlifting the most. And so for me, especially when I was doing my doctoral program, it gave me an outlet to really just focus on everything that I was doing. Every piece of weightlifting, whether it be clean and jerk or snatch, requires you to center yourself and be in the moment, focus, and go through every aspect of the lift in order to have a successful lift. So I love that the most because I love weightlifting, and I needed something to allow me to center myself, be mindful of a lot of things that are happening within the lift so I can execute a perfect lift. And I've been doing Olympic weightlifting since. It's probably been since around 2020. Let me see. My first medal over there is around like 2023, 2024. Yeah, 2023. And so I found my coach and she helped me along the way. And I'm still lifting for right now. It's probably one of the events I've stayed with the most since being an adult. I found out the hard way that I couldn't play soccer anymore due to an injury. But see, that's the thing about being an athlete. You enjoy doing the things. It's hard to let go of something that you love. And definitely, as me being a social worker, I can see the benefits of being able to exercise and partake in certain things. And so, but along my journey, there were certain things that most athletes deal with. As I talk about, visualization being a very important thing for me at the high school level. I would visualize, as a wide receiver, or we would call ourselves wide blockers because that's what we did at my high school. I use visualization. I was introduced to that by my high school head coach. Probably then I should have known I was going to be a social worker then because I practiced it so much that I still use it to this day. And I feel like I'm pretty good at visualization. And then also thinking about the anxiety that I dealt with while playing the game. Even though I love sports so much, I would still get a little anxious before the games. Knowing I did all the visualizations, all the practicing and perfected and did all the things I did at home, when it came down to the game, I would freeze up a little bit. At that time, I wish I had a social worker then to help me out, but it was one of those things that we had to learn on our own back in the day. Even when it comes down to me getting ready to do I've been in 3 weightlifting events so far, and even to this day, I still do a lot of visualization, and I don't get anxious as much anymore. I actually, have a couple of things I do to help myself in this space, but these are the things I had to address. And there's so many other things that sports social workers do in this field, and that is the reason for this podcast, for people to become informed about the work that we do. Um, and a lot of people may think, like, even when I introduced myself as a sports social worker at times, people are like, sports social work? There's a thing for that? I'm like, yeah. Athletes are human beings, and athletes deal with a lot of things that they may not share a whole lot because they feel like they have to be that Superman. Oftentimes, a lot of our social workers, we still talk about some of the injustices that athletes are dealing with. And then, lo and behold, they also have mental health things that they need to be addressed as well. A lot of people may not know, but eating disorder is real in social work, in sports social work. Um, Even with so many other things that people have to deal with day to day as an athlete and balancing things out. As I like to say, a lot of people are still first generational anything in this space. And so you think about athletes who are, who excel in football, and even so many other family members play football in the past, they may be the first person to go to college and get a full ride or get an NIL that nobody else has experienced. Nobody can help guide them along that way. They don't know what to do. And maybe they not feel comfortable enough talking to their coaches or some people that work at the school to help provide that support for them. And so there are so many things that we can do and they need to address in sports social work. And as I probably said for the 15th time already, that is the purpose of this podcast. I am looking forward to some of the dynamic guests that I have that will be involved with this project. I will spoil the names a little bit later on, but I definitely would like for you to tune into the show to learn more about the work we do. And also, I may learn some new things too. One thing about me, I'm not ever going to claim that I know everything. Now, I go know a good little bit, but I never want to be the smartest person in the room, and I always love learning. I could blame my father and my mother for that because they always encourage us to learn as much as possible because it's going to benefit you in the long run. And so, as we look forward to helping either other social workers learn more about this space, helping coaches, athletic directors, athletes, parents, mentors learn about what support is available for them, and maybe as you serve as part of that ecosystem, what is your role and how you can help support that athlete in your life? Or even have to support yourself if you're an athlete to this day. Like I said myself, I still participate in events. Actually, I have a competition in December in Kentucky as a master's weightlifting event. So I'm preparing myself for that. And I'm still going through all the cues and make sure I check in with myself to make sure I'm ready for that event. And so these are the things we're going to cover. These are the things we're going to address. We're going to drop 2 episodes a month. And so I really hope for you get opportunity to participate through engaging and listening through what I have to offer through this podcast. And I'm going to give a big shout out to my sister. She also helped motivate me into creating this series. She is like my little cheerleader. And she told me, Justin, you got to get your face out there. You got to get your voice out there. And, I don't mind talking because I've had podcasts and radio shows before in the past. And so now I'm like, okay, she's right. I got to get myself involved. And actually, she's going to be a guest. She already told me, Justin, I want to be one of your guests because my family, we are athletes. We love a little competition, but we all had something that we had to get involved with as a sport. And so she actually is the tennis guru in our family. And she was like, Justin, I want to be a guest because I want to talk about some of the things that I had to deal with as an athlete, as a high school tennis athlete. And so she played tennis majority of her life. She still plays to this day. I'm getting back into it. But she's going to share some of the things she's experienced with also like help reviving a tennis program that I'm going to give her credit for and how to balance, being she's a scholar. She's probably by far the brightest out of me and my siblings. And she won't say that, but she is. And so she'll talk about some of the things she had to balance as a student athlete and trying to make sure she maintained great grades and the expectations she set on herself and how to manage that. And so that'll be a great episode for some of our high school students and college students. And so this is going to be great. I look forward to it. I do love to talk. And so we'll have different guests on here. I may have some students follow me along the journey as well. as we are. Well, I'm not going to share that information. It's got some good things that are going to be happening in the future, and I look forward to it. An expectation, and we're going to talk about all things social work, micro, macro level, and meso level when it comes to sports social work. And so I want to give a few shout outs that I feel like are near and dear to me. One, I'm going to give a shout out to myself for Just Single Vision Consulting. You can follow me on Instagram, and I have a website at justsinglevision.com. And so I do provide mental performance consulting services, and I am a social worker, and I provide therapy in the states of Tennessee and Michigan. Also want to give a shout out for ASWIS, Alliance Social Work in Sports. They are an organization that helped me find me in this space. And please make sure that you follow or go to the website aswis.org and learn more about some of the things that are happening in this industry that's new to a lot of people, but it's been around for a great deal of time. I left that conference that we had in New Orleans just about a month or so ago, and back in October, beginning of October. And it was a great time, and it got really inspired by a lot of professionals that are doing the work. And you'll meet some of those people on the podcast, on this podcast here. I'm very looking forward to having our guests on here. They have promised themselves to be on here, and it's going to be great. So those are people I want to give a shout out to for sure. And that'll be it. This will be part about the shortest episode that you'll receive from me. This is just a warm up. I want to get you to see my face, hear my voice, and receive the expectation for this podcast. So we can definitely thank you for joining, and I look forward to you learning more about the work that we do in this space, and I'm excited, and I hope you are too. So thank you for joining. Like I said, this will be the shortest episode. Our episodes will be between 30 to 45 minutes. And if I get to talking too much and want to, our guests get really excited about the work, maybe an hour long. But we're going to keep it around 30, 45 minutes because you got a life to live. And we understand that. And so we really look forward to all the work that will be happening here with And Then We Win podcast. Singleton signing out. Thank you and take care.